Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you guys doing? Welcome and welcome back to Money Monday. It is so nice to have you. Hey everyone, welcome back to Money Monday, and we are officially today in episode 4. I just want to apologize for last week Monday as we had a snowstorm here in Maryland. But we're officially back to episode 4 where we're talking about no credit card 2026 journey. But today we need to talk about a wolf in sheep clothes. A lot of you guys have been asking me about this on our last Money Monday, and I want to talk about this today, okay? We have seen where a lot of persons, when they're purchasing anything, they will ask for checkout of what Klarna or Afterpay or the Affirm. And to us, it may look like a blessing, right? Because, hey, if we can buy now and pay later, especially if we were managing a budget for a big family, um, I could see why we could fall into that trap. But today, I'm going to show you why buy now and paying later is the invisible trap that could ruin your financial goal. All right. So I'm going to allow everybody to come in. Let me see. Am I zooming in too much? Hold on. I think so. I'm going to allow everybody to come in here. I want to find somewhere to put you guys. Because where I park is like, I don't know. I'm in my car and waiting for an appointment. But last week I missed my Money Monday, and this week I can't miss the Money Monday. So let me know, guys, when you're ready. I'm trying to, get myself comfortable while we talk about this Afterpay, because a lot of you guys have been asking me prior to this, like about the Afterpay and what were my thoughts about it. And I said, hey, I don't use it. And one of the main reasons why I don't use it, because honestly, I did feel like it was a trap going into it. So if you have used Klarna or Afterpay, let me know what are some of your experiences. But I'm gonna dive right in. Hello, Reed, send me by. How are you? How are you doing? How are you? How are you doing, lady? Let me set this up here. So when you have a family of 8 like myself, like we do, seeing a grocery bill of a $200 grocery bill, or a pair of shoes for our kids for like $100, and you can pay 25. I'm doing fine. You can pay $25 monthly, and you don't have to buy it one time. It may feels like you are winning when you're taking that route, but the reality of it is it's a debt in disguise that you're still taking up. So yes, I'm not using a credit card for 2026, but now you're doing Afterpay. So that's a debt in disguise. Just because there's no plastic doesn't mean that you don't owe somebody money, right? I'm doing fine, Valeria. Thank you so much. That doesn't mean that you don't owe somebody money, okay? So there's the micro pay blower. When you have 5 different BNPL plans going on at once, your bank account start leaking, right? Because now you have to make 15 here, 30 there, and suddenly half of your paycheck is gone before you even see it. So even though you are saying no credit card, but you're taking these payment plans on these things that they offer you, Affirm or Klarna, you feel like, oh, I'm saving. But really you're not saving, because now you're owing somebody else and paying the interest. Overspending. There's a study that has shown that people spend up to 20% more on things like services or things that they really don't need, but they feel that they need it immediately. And can you agree with that? Let me know if you can agree with that. So in the US, there are several people who are using debt only lifestyle. They rely exactly what's in their bank account. But how many percentage is that? And I would have to do a research on that to see how many percentage of people who are using that. So for my content is a lifestyle content. It surrounds everything in the family. I cook, I have fun with my kids. Challenges. I have a blended family, so it's very challenging. And I also incorporate money. And so I dedicated Monday as Money Monday because you can't run a family without money, right? And so this is why I put this here based on my experience to talk to you guys about how, because a lot of persons said, I have one kid and I can barely manage, right? And we have 8. And so is it challenging? Yes. So that's why I have Money Monday. So if you're running a family and we want to talk about money, because money is very, very important when you have a family. Okay. Right. So let's go back to these. There's the automotive tab. Let me start back because I kind of got off track. Why it breaks your budget. So we're talking about the payment plan and why it makes your budget, because you're paying 15 here, 20 here, and by the time you think about it, your account is done and you don't know where the money go, because yes, you bought that shoes that you really thought you need, or probably your kids need, but now you're caught up again not paying credit card, but now you have created and started a new way of accumulating debt. So that's the automation trap, right? These apps are there to pull your money in automatically, and if you're a day late, the timing with your paycheck didn't come in on time, especially if you work with a federal government and now we're in a partial shutdown, or for those who have been in a full shutdown, you may have overdraft fees for these banks, right? These late fees on these apps. So these are things that you need to think about. Say, for instance, your boss didn't get to put your money in your account on time, then you're going to have these late fees. So even though we're saying no credit card 2026, we're still occurring extra money that we are trying to save for 2026, right? All right. So it's basically a return or a nightmare. So have you ever tried to return something you're still paying for? So you're paying for something, you're trying to return it, and you're stuck paying the installation fee while you're still waiting for a refund, because you sign up with these apps. You bought the shoes you thought you wanted, but now you have to return it. You are already paying on that, your installation payments on that, but you return it and you're waiting on them to refund back your money to you. Okay. How does it impact your credit? Some of these services are now reporting to the credit bureau, right? But if you miss one payment because of a busy week with your kids or your family, your credit score can be impacted by this, right? You have been working so hard to build your credit, and here, because of these payment installation card, Affirm thing that you signed up with, when you're buying something and you pay 4 payments and you pay it off, now it will impact your credit. Any questions for me here? Any questions? Thank you so much for the likes. So we're going to talk about the Martin family alternative. Okay. So what do we do instead? You're saying no credit card. You're also saying that we are not supposed to use Affirm and Klarna. I'm not telling you're not supposed to use them. It is your choice. But I'm telling you, what are the ripple effects from using these things, right? If we're trying to go debt-free for 2026, we're trying to spend, and we only spend the money that we have. And if we don't have it, we don't spend it, right? So what do we do instead? That's a question that we ask. Now you may be asking, what do I do instead? You're telling me not to do that. You can sit over there and tell me that, but what do we do instead? So for the Martin family alternative, the 24-hour rule. So if you can pay for it in full today, and you wait 24 hours, usually that must-have feeling that you said, oh, I must have this. Right? You ever go to Home Goods, because I like to buy home things, and thing is, the king costs $150, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna leave it, and if I come back tomorrow and it's still here, then it's something that I must have. So that urge that I had the day before when I saw it, By the time tomorrow, I don't want to go back to Home Goods or whichever store that I've been to or whichever site I've been on. You realize that urge for spending is gone, right? So that's some of the things that we have used in the Martin family as an alternative. Another thing is the sinking fund. I don't really want to distract from my stuff, but I'm gonna put it here because YouTube added. So I'm gonna add it here. They add that, okay? So the sinking fund, if you know the kids need new shoes or they need new shoes for spring break is coming up, you start putting down $10-20 for, you know, these stuff. I'm not saying that there might not be an emergency, but you start putting on these funds for these stuff that is coming up. Or you can use the save first, pay later. It's an old school method or an old school concept, but it's the only way we have used to actually try to not use our credit cards. Okay? So let me know what are some of the things that you have used. Do you use credit card? And what are some of the things you're planning to do for 2026? Let me see here. I'm waiting. Hi, how are you? I'm going to give the 2-second rule to see if anybody has anything to say. Anyone else? What have you used? What are some of the stuff that you have used? What are some of the stuff that you have used? Have you used Affirm? You know, you go, you see something, you said, I know a lot of people say, oh, I love using Affirm, you know? You know, a lot of people say that. And I have coworkers who said, oh, I use Affirm. And I was like, good morning. I said, I don't use it. They're like, why? I said, because I'm still actually holding somebody, you know? Right? Okay. So let me go a little bit further since nobody is talking and we're still early into the discussion. Okay. Why using these things ruin your credit goals, right? So the reason why we went into a debt-free lifestyle in 2026 is because we're trying to control the BNPL takes, that how many cards that we're using and how many things that we're spending on. What's the topic? Do you use Affirm or Klarna? Do you do the pay after? You buy anything, you break it up in 4 different payments, and our goal is for 2026 is to try to not use credit cards, use money that we have, right? Because of how prices and things are going expensive, especially for those who have a big family or if you're living on a budget. Cash only. I own everything. And I love that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you stopping by here, JZB. It's a cash only. So coming from Jamaica, it's a cash only system. There's credit cards, but Jamaican people, if they don't have cash, they don't buy it. Okay. So it's hard when they move over here to get into a system where you can live off credit. While credit is still good, you can get yourself caught up in a lot of debt that you probably can't pay for. We talk about the overdraft danger. If that $40 Afterpay hits on Tuesday and your paycheck don't land until Wednesday, now you're caught up with a $35 late fee, or now you have to deal with that's double spending, right? So you're going to pay $35 more than, you know, that you didn't have. Don't let them colonize. Tell them different. Cash will only be the king. Cash will only be the king. While credit is good, it's good to maintain credit. It's not good to get caught up and to start abusing credit, right? And it's called the spending itch, right? We use these apps because we think we need it, or as influencer, we're there for you guys to buy stuff because we promote this stuff on the channel. They'll be like, oh my god, I need to get that, right? And then you'll buy it, and then you realize after you really don't use it. So it's called a spending itch. We buy what we don't need. We think we can afford it, and because we have these Afterpay programs, we use them, and then we're spending more on our account or our pay than we had, so we're leaving our pay in a negative. Okay. I think, hold on guys, hold on 1 second here, hold on. I'm sorry guys, I just had a phone call. I have a doctor's appointment today. I'm doing everything on my end, but the doctor mom just passed away, so I don't think I need to go to a doctor's office if his mom just passed this week. Just reschedule another time. So here we go again. We got to schedule some more appointments. I'm 45 and never used credit, but I never had a need to do so. So which state are you living in? Where are you living? Which country are you living in? Because now we have to think about, I'm not saying that not to use credit or not to have credit or not to exercise credit, right? I'm saying that how to control the use of credit. Oh, you're in Detroit. So let me ask, do you own your own home? Do you own your own home? And you said you pay for everything cash. Or do you rent? Do you own your own transportation? Do you save for these things before you could buy them? So these are the questions that we have to ask. That's a very good concept for somebody living in America. But we have to also think about people want to achieve certain things, and sometimes credit is the way of doing it. I have a mortgage, and that's like me still paying credit, right? But it's in a healthy way, you know? Yes, 3 homes and an apartment building. Well, pretty good. So that means you probably be an investor, right? Probably we can get you to come on here. We definitely hit me up on Instagram to let's see if we could have a sit down where we could help our viewers, including myself, to see how we can how we could do this, how we also could become multiple homeowners, or even if for those who are trying to go into real estate for their retirement or for the future. So definitely hit me up. I work hard _mind is on my YouTube page, my Instagram. Send me a message there. I would love to have you on the program so we could talk about it. These are the stuff that we want to have in 2026, and we want to use profound facts of people who have done it before us, right? There are persons who believe they put their money in the stock market. They will put all their money there, right? Instead of going out and just buying things that they don't need. It's a good and a healthy way of doing that. And for you to be 45 and to be that financially stable mentally, and that means you have been taught literacy of money. A lot of people, like, they don't understand how to use money, so money use them, right? And so here we have Jay Breeze, who says that, hey, I don't make money use me, I use money, right? And that's an absolutely amazing way to go about it. My kids have stores, I look out for mines. Yes, that is absolutely amazing. And you got to teach them. You could give your kids anything. If they don't know how to manage or use money effectively, then guess what? It's going to be misused, and they may get themselves caught up in debts that are, we don't really want. So we talk about score ghosting. A lot of these apps don't help your credit when you pay on time. They'll report to your credit if you owe, but if you pay on time, they don't they don't boost your credit score, right? But if you miss a payment, then that's when they will absolutely do that, right? So for 2026, let's keep each other accountable. Tell me in the comment one thing you almost bought on a pay in 4 app this week. I mean, this is a commercialized, I don't know about credit. I know about credit, so I could help on the credit side. You could help us on the debt only side, because that's the side that we all trying to get to, right? So definitely, if you could, definitely we could talk about that. We could have even episode 5 where we meet up, and I could do an interview with you, and you could just share some of your stories and how it works for you. I would really appreciate that. I would value from that. And also my viewers also would take that as a value as well, because we're here to help each other. Okay. And because we are, my channel is a lifestyle family channel. We're here to help the family to grow. Okay. For 2026, we're holding each other accountable. So if you have bought something, if you have almost bought something this week where you pay in four payments and you pay it all off, that's the Affirm, the Klarna, whatever you use to do that. If you have, let me know in the comments if you have. And if what I'm saying, if you think it's so much relatable to you, I'm glad if you guys would share your story, okay? And if you're finding our Money Monday session valuable, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, Martin Family Forever. And this is my way of just giving back to you on time. Life insurance, $20K a year. Ooh, you use life insurance. Ooh. So is that whole life insurance? Because I know whole life insurance, you can take away money from it, but whole life insurance is so expensive. It is so expensive. I know, like, people, like a lot of my friends is like, oh, you take money from the TSP. I was like, no, I don't. I don't take money from a lot of parents, that's the thing that a lot of people talking about, like, you should make your kid take out life insurance policy on you. No matter how expensive it is, let them break it up. I heard this lady talking about that. That's something we could talk about, because especially the African American community, we don't like to talk about, we don't prepare for that. We act like it's something that's never going to happen. So if we taboo it and we don't talk about it, we don't prepare for it, then it probably will go away. And so that's what happened in our African American community, right? Or somebody would be like, I don't want to take it out, because if I take it out, then who knows? That's money. Somebody wants money, But it's something that we do need to talk about. We do. They cashed their life insurance to buy a store. They know daddy got their back. See? Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So you could tell us about that. That's something absolutely you could talk to us about. You could tell us how to use it. I know I have a term life insurance, but I know that there is whole life insurance where you could borrow money from it, from the money that you already put in. Because sometimes some people, they wait so long forever, So that's something good to discuss on here. I don't really have much knowledge about that, but that's something that we could definitely talk about on our Money Monday episode 5, right? And I love when you come on here and just share these amazing story with us, because it can help us as a family. For 2026, we are building wealth for 2026. We are not going to get caught up in the commercialized thing of we just buying because it's there to buy. And some of the things we buy, we end up donating it anyway. This year I'm kind of cutting back on On traveling, I'm cutting back on how much clothes I buy because I realize I have clothes inside my drawers and everything that I don't even wear. I don't wear them, guys. But I be buying them, right? So don't let this whole spending thing. Get a good lawyer and put $200 into your kids' life insurance, and they will have 1 million when they turn 18. $200 a month in your kids' life insurance. How about the what is it called? What is it called? Roth IRA. The Roth IRA is a good thing. I mean, I do that. The Roth IRA is a good thing. I have Acorn and I use Acorn, and I'm telling you, Acorn is a good thing. The Roth IRA, especially putting it for your kids, that's an amazing thing to put into. That's an amazing thing. So that's another topic. We could talk about that. We could talk about where we could put our money. Like those money that we be spending all the time. You scared of the IRA? I'm not scared of it. I love it. I love it. I love it, and I love youth savings account. I do. Let me close this out before we go a little bit deeper. So don't let these hap trick you into thinking that you're winning real financial freedom if you're owing somebody, right? Because you're buying for the moment, but you're walking out of the store hoeing. And what's happening? You're putting yourself in like a trap of Afterpay or Klarna balance. So it's happy that we have somebody like Jay Breezy who's talking to us, who's actually telling us, I have gained financial freedom and I don't use credit. And I know a lot of people in the comment may be like, that's crazy. That can't happen. There are multimillionaires that doesn't use credit. They know how to leverage money in order to become successful. So he's just sharing some gem with us of how you could leverage money, okay? But guys, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel for every Money Monday, and let me know what you like to see us talk about. And if we could get Jay Breezy to come on here just to share some of his tips with us, I would love to have that. We'll talk about home ownership. We'll talk about saving towards even buying a car, like a small term goal, right? Saving for a down payment to purchase a home, right? How we go about doing that. These are things that we could talk about so I could give back to my community, right? Because honestly, nobody talked to me about this. I had to learn these things on my own. And I owned my first home when I was like 29 years old. And it's something that I had to figure out on my own. I did not have anybody teaching me. My parents were not homeowners. I didn't have a cousin who owned a house who could tell me. I didn't have a brother, a sister. I had to figure it out. So I'm here to help you guys, right? And I've paid off my credit card twice before. Twice. Right? And for this year, I have a credit card that I need to pay off. And that's why I'm on this journey, this accountability journey, where we're not using credit card, right? We're not using credit at all. So, hold on here. Let me charge. Let me charge my thing. I'm waiting to go to do this stuff right here. Jay Breezy says, I'm looking for generational wealth. My great and great grandchildren should have millions when they turn 18. And that is super, super amazing. Why is this not charging? Jesus. They should have millions of dollars when they turn 18. Yeah. That is absolutely good. That is absolutely good. And that's something that we need to add to our shopping cart for 2026. We need to add that to our shopping cart because we need to be able to have generational wealth. And we don't just drop money in our kids' lap because some of these kids will cash it out, right? We keep it in a way, in an estate where it goes to generation upon generation. They have access to it, but they can't get rid of it. right? So it passed on to future generation. Okay. But this was a nice live. I really appreciate that. It's almost 30 minutes into the live. If there's anything you, as Jay Breezy said, 1 million at least, hope they learn to spend it right. So as I said, Jay Breezy, you can give your kids 10 million. If you don't teach them how to leverage money, it will be like being like giving them $1. Like oftentimes people use the saying, oh, I wish I get $1 million tomorrow. Well, I would stop working. Like what? What are you saying? Do you know how fast $1 million, or you go through $1 million? It's like $1. It's so crazy. You don't have $1 million, so that's why you speak of $1 million like it's a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. It is not. Because if you don't know how to leverage or manage money or how to multiply money, having $1 million is nothing, especially after taxes. It is nothing. You have to know how to make your money grow and how your money works for you. That is the important part of having. You could have $10,000, guys. You could have $10,000. If it's not accruing interest, you know what I like? I got my yield savings statement, and it says that I earned almost $1,000. And I'm like, I look at my bank, and I earned 56 cents. So I don't have that money in my bank account. I would have earned probably 56 cents too. Make that make sense? It doesn't make sense. But while I use a yield savings account, I almost make $1,000. Like, that's what I'm saying. If you don't know how to leverage your money so that your money can keep growing, it's pointless. Money is credit card, is debt in which you consume in contradiction of Christ paying your debt. Okay. All right. That's a whole different debt we're talking about. We're talking about the earthly debt that we incur. Good. It's so nice. I would love if you have a platform and you could talk about that, Zaron, where we could talk about God and the debt that he paid for us. I would love to join your live show for that. But today we're actually talking about the earthly debt that we incur and living on earth. Because for now, until this earth is reformed, we have to live here, right? And so while we're not leaning on our own understanding, we are still living like we're living on earth, and God expects for us to provide for ourselves, right? And so we are trying to figure out, how do we provide for ourselves without being slaving to this world and not having time for God, right? And so if we constantly remain entrapped in debt and earthly debt, we always will be slaving ourselves, trying to gain more and more money to cover these debts. So how could we get away from being debt free? And here are some of the ways. And so that's what I'm talking about, and that's what Jay Breezy is telling us. Like, I have done it. I have been debt free all my life. If I don't use cash, I don't use it at all, and I have gained wealth. And he's expressing to us what are some of the ways you can gain wealth. So if that's not what you're contributing to the live feed chat, even though I love you joining my live feed chat so that YouTube could push this channel out, we would definitely love to join your forum where you talk about Christ paying our debt, in which is a very good topic. But for right now, we're talking about we paying our own debt right here. All right. So much love and respect for you. And I love your love for Christ. Once you say Christ, I am Christ oriented. I'm there with you 100%. But just know, today we're talking about the debt that we owe on earth. All right? All right. You said, Jay Breezy said, don't pay them no attention, man. Yeah, we're trying to get financial literacy knowledge, because a lot of things that's missing from especially our African American society, a lot of things that is missing is that They're not literate in regards to money. And if you say that to somebody who's especially African American, they'll be like, oh, so you said me not know if you use money? No, we're not saying that. We're saying that you could have $1,000,000 and it means nothing to you because you don't know how to leverage money. You have to know how to leverage money, how you're gonna not be enslaved to the money and allow the money to work for you. There is a saying, don't work hard, but work smart. Let your money work for you. Make sure when you're sleeping, you are earning money. Jay Breezy said he has an apartment complex. So every time, even right now, he's been on this live, he's incurring money. Every day he gets paid. Every day. Does that mean that you don't have earthly stress? You're going to have stress. You're still going to have issues, right? Because to maintain a property, tax man, you got to pay the taxes. You know, you have those things that are coming in. So those have their stresses. But you rather to be debt-free dealing with those stresses than to be in debt and have those stress. So that's what we're talking about, my love. That's exactly what we're talking about here. So if you have a live show that you would like us to join, I would definitely love to join it. And I think my viewers will love to join it too as well. All right. All right. So let me know if guys you want to add anything. Robert, King, Valeria, and Zarian, thank you for coming. And JB's. I can buy an ice cream truck and make $1 million in a month. Just get off your ass and make it. Yeah, make it happen. Make it happen. You know, and you have people who might buy it and they don't know how to run it, they don't know how to market it, and they don't make anything. So this is why literacy is very important for our community. And I know somebody asked, what type of channel you do? And I said, lifestyle family. But how can the family run without money? How can you run, especially a large family like we do, without money? Sometimes I tell the kids, hey, cut the light off. I say that, stop wasting the soap. Stop doing that. Stop doing this. Stop trashing the stuff. Because money is, you got to work very hard to come by it. And currently right now, I don't have a recycle money system. Jay Breezy has. And we all can have a money that replenishes itself every month, whether we work or not. Because we set up a system. Money is a system. Do you have a system in place? Do you set up a money system in place where if I go to sleep, I'm still generating money? If I go to sleep right now and I wake up 2 days later, is my debt still being paid? Is my bill still being paid? Is my taxes still being paid? And so that's why I have the no credit card for 2026, because we are building on that, guys. Every Monday we're building on that, how to secure money. And then we're gonna say, okay, you have, for the past 6 months, you have not spent out, you have not eaten out, you have not buy things that you thought you need that you didn't need. So that extra money you have, this is where you put it. This is where you put it. And even if you get $20 as a small win, you know, if you had $500, you wouldn't have gotten $20 if you had it in the bank before. So this is why I'm here, to help you guys and to help our community, to say and have people who have experience. JBs have experience telling us this is what I did. This is what I did, why this happened. Right? So instead of trying to get what somebody has, how about you replicate what somebody does to make your own? What are some of the things that you can do to replicate to make your own money? Yeah, rent is due on the 1st. Bank account is going crazy. Yeah, because they have to pay the rent. Real estate is one of the biggest game in anywhere. Having a real estate is one of the biggest gain in anywhere. Everything has its pros and its cons, but it's one of the biggest game. Money gain. I have to use that money to put in a hot water tank. Yeah. So as I talk about, I said, even though you're having a real estate business that's incurring money every month, everything has its own stress. It has its own stress, because to have a property, you have to maintain the property. So yes, you may get this money, it may be a win, but then you have to put the money back into the business, because now you want to make sure that money is still generating more money. So I'm so happy that you're back again, Jay Breezy. Yeah, I'm so happy that you're back. You're here with us, and definitely could help us, help this channel to talk about some realistic, because a lot of times people buy property, and you can tell the people who don't care about their investment. They just buy it and they just treat it any type of way. Any type of way. And what I tell you is, if you have a property and you do not upgrade your property and you do not maintain your property, the value goes down. Yes, you can have a comp in your area for $10 million, and your house is in that area that can value $5 million. Probably you could get $6 million for that, or $10 million for that small little house, if you upkeep your property. If you keep your property in good shape, you can also get your property to be valued $10 million as the houses in your community comes. But you're not going to have a rundown property and get $10 million. So you still have to maintain the property to make it hold the value. The number one comeback, I would only make $2,000 this month. Yeah, because now you have to put the money back into the property. But next month you'll get your money. And that water heater can last another 5 to 6 years. You don't have to worry about it because it's a new one. I barbecue from my apartment building, buy school supply for the kids and everything. So you're amazing. So you give back. You give back to your tenants, and that's a good thing. I really appreciate that, though. I really appreciate you just sharing these gems with us. And so I have this question to ask. How many of you would love, by the time you're 50, to have a real estate business, to have a trucking business, to have a car rental business, things that are going to generate? That doesn't mean that it doesn't come with its own stress. Running any business has its own stress. Okay? All right? Jay Breezy is going to buy a water heater this month. It has its own stress. But let's think about the positive things into running a business. How many of you are thinking that, hey, I'm in debt right now, I don't know when I'm going to be able to come out to even say I save towards something, to even that extreme? Well, today is the day. Thank you for joining Money Monday. I'm here to help the family grow, build financially every Monday, just to share. I'll get some people to come in on my live to talk to you about money. Money is so important. You need money to run the family. You need money, especially if you have a big family. But if it's just you and your wife, you also need money. Okay? Right? If it's just even you're single, you need money. So you need to know how to use money and use it effectively, and how to make money works for you. So we're on this journey every Monday. Money Monday around this time, we'll talk about that. Some people be late on rent, and I'm okay. You just don't let it happen again. So you give them leniency. The water heater cost me $30K, man, because it's the whole building. So how many units do you have in your apartment? It better last until it dies. You say you're not doing no 6 year, 5 year. I used to be mad when the suck pump go out, or the water heater, because my water heater was giving issues, but I need a condensation in there, a humidifier. So I put the humidifier in there, and no, it's not giving, because I have a tankless water heater. So, but it do get corroded too. You still have to flush it. 26. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah. $30K. That's good. That's good. And as I said, Jay Breeze, if you could reach out to me on Instagram, my Instagram is, I'm going to give you my Instagram account. So you can reach out to me, send me a message on there where we could have a chat, where we could talk. You could share. I'll ask you a few questions and you share with our community. Right? You share with our community about, so my Instagram is iworkhard_for mine. If you follow me on Instagram yet, guys, please do. Let me type it. Let me type it here. Let me type it here. I'm gonna put it in the chat so you guys could follow me on there. Follow me on Instagram, guys. Don't forget to like and to subscribe to this channel. So that is my Instagram. That is my Instagram. Let me pin it right here. Message me if you have any knowledge on finances and how to help an average person to grow their finances, whether it's the stock market, whether it's an investment account, whether it's a mortgage broker, whether it's first time home ownership, whatever it is to help our community. On Money Monday, we are here to help the family to grow. Okay, so every Monday you can join our channel and just discuss that. So let me see, any more questions for me before I wrap this up here? Any more questions? And thank you for all those 4 people said, as Black people, we need this talk. Of course, it's so important. Hi, Jeremiah. It is so important that we have this conversation because, you know, as African American, we're afraid to ask a white man, and if we do even ask them, we think that they're going to give us information that I don't want to use that word, but halfway. Let me say that. Halfway. We think if they give us, they're not going to give us the inside of it. And for those who have learned the inside to it, they don't want to talk about it because they feel like if I have developed or has a sustainable way of generating consistent income without incurring debt, right? And I tell somebody we're going to be leveled up. Well, we all need to be leveled up, especially if we're raising children, especially if we're a single mom, especially if we have generation that we are living for, right? For our children. If we want to pass down generational wealth, because guess what? A white man is always going to pass down generational wealth to his children. So why are our kids struggling? Why do we have our children struggling? Why are we not having these conversations? Or we feel too prideful to ask somebody, how, hey, I see you're using money and you're using money successfully. How are you doing this? They're gatekeeping. Yes. How are you doing this? As I said, my friend is Russian. My friend who told me about the yield savings account. I didn't know about it. But she know how I work with my money. She know I'm always trying to find ways to make my money work. And so she come and she say, hey, you know, she's a bank manager at Bank of America. She's like, hey, you know, this is what I do. I've done this. And she showed me, hey, I done this. I moved this money here. And this is what works out for me. Right? All we hear about, oh, you buy CD. But listen, you don't make that much money on CDs. I'm just being honest with you. Rather you buy stocks. Like, seriously. Right? So you said that the game is to be sold and not told. I'm telling everything. Exactly. So the game, I mean, I remember when I just purchased my first home, right? The guy who worked with me, his mom is Jamaican, his father is Panamanian. And I remember I wasn't making enough money, right? I love Russian. You will never hear the N word. Yes, they're very respectful. Yes. And you know, they have similar lives to us. And I remember when I was purchasing the home, and I guess the income, I was like, I can't afford that. I said, what if he was giving me like a 5-year finance? I was like, I don't want to finance for 5 years, because I heard that people fall through the crack and then the mortgage went up. And he's like, listen to me. I promise you. He's like, I would never sold you something if I know you have your kids and you're a single mom, that you will fall through. And man, I remember I count down the days going up to the 5 year. I was so afraid, because I'm like, oh my God, this mortgage go up on me. And trust and believe me, I trusted somebody of my own kind. And they always say you can't trust your own people, but that's a lie. Every word that man sold me and got me into financing with them was so true. And you know what? I learned so much about money from him. I have got so many people into home ownership just because of the knowledge that I learned from that guy. I've learned so much from the conversation we have. And I mean, it just have anything to do with money, I would always call him. He was a mortgage broker, and I would always call him, and he would just tell me, like, or even in regards to our property, if I'm trying to do any type of renovation, he's like, that's cosmetic. That really don't do anything to the property value. That's something that you just like to see. So I knew exactly when I wanted to even reappraise my property. I knew what type of stuff I needed to do in my property to increase the value of my property. And I learned that from my brother. And I was able to help many others just through the one. He didn't have to tell me. He was there to just sell a mortgage, and he could have sold his mortgage and he just go about his business. Even my realtor, on the day of closing, I had to fire her, because he's like, listen, she doesn't have your interest at heart. I'm in Maryland. He told me point blank, that realtor don't have your interest at heart. She's not looking out for you. She was mad. She's like, I got you into this deal. I got you into this into them accepting your offer. And I had to let her go. I had to let her go because she did not have my interest at heart. So when you find a brother or a sister sharing gems with you, you have to appreciate it. Because a lot of them know these knowledge and they just keep it to themselves. They're not showing you. Or they tell you half-ass. They tell you halfway of the story and they don't tell you the rest of it. Well, for 2026, we're going to crack that code. We're here to help the family. We're here to help the family grow. We're help the family sustain money. And we're here to help the family to have a debt-free life and just running off of debt, of our debit only. So if we reduce the debt that we have, or we have no debt at all, right? And that money that we would have already paid to the debtor, we're now investing that money into ourselves. If we're standing by, not using the 24-hour ego phase when purchasing, because a lot of things that we buy it off of ego because of how it makes us feel at the time, and we think that we actually need it. And then we realize that, hey, I really didn't need it. After 24 hours, you buy it, you use it 2 times, you put it away. That's money that you're going to pay on a credit card, or you're going to pay on an Afterpay that you really didn't need to pay. That's more money coming out of your money that you could have invested somewhere for yourself. Wow. Come to Detroit and open a non-profit women's shelter. I got your startup. Hit me up on Instagram. Let's talk money. And I would love to have you as a host on here so we could talk money to our people, our YouTube community, our African American community, our single moms. Let's help our community. I gave you the golden ticket. You can help your people and the government will pay for it. I have a friend here. She just celebrated her 50th birthday. She's older than I am, few years. And I'm like, I've learned so much from her bankruptcy, for everything with her. I've learned so much from her. But she just purchased our first real estate property. And I promise you, she's on our second real estate property. She's going to close on our third by December. And her whole system is she has Section 8s, right? She rents out to Section 8. And I remember the first time, even before she closed, she's like, girl, we got to get on this. We got to get into real estate. And she was just like telling me, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to, And literally, I'm telling you, have you ever seen somebody just give you all the gems? She gave me all the gems, like literally all the gems with proven facts. Proven facts. She gave me all the gems, right? And I was saying to myself, how many single moms out there who are actually, some of them are working ass off. They're working so hard, bro. And it's not like some of them could not utilize these resources. It's not like some of them could not obtain these incomes, additional incomes. It's because they just don't know. They don't know. So it seems so far-fetched. Like I will never able to achieve that because I can't afford it. Actually, you can't. But if you don't know something, how are you going to get it? You're not going to get it. If nobody tells you about it, how are you going to get it? You will never know. You'll never know how to win yourself away from being enslaved to just working. Without, if you don't go to work today because of the snowstorm, you have no money coming in. I will take money and time. Most will say yes. Most not gonna tell you. I remember like I think it was November, about 3 a.m. she sent me something, and she said, hey girl, look at this. She said, look at this. She said, are you joking, man? I'm telling you. I'm just thinking I'm not touching my TSP. I'm not. She said, girl, it's your money. It's your money. You gonna leave it for you leaving it for the kids? Because they're gonna take your money. They're gonna spend it. They're gonna do whatever they want. So were you gonna invest and leave for them, or are you gonna say I'm not touching? So I had this whole rule. Oh, I'm not touching. I'm gonna invest. I'm not touching. It's your money. And that's a good way to look at it. It's your money. As long as you're investing it into something that's gonna bring back return, it is your money. Touch your money, use your money, but use it. Make the money leverage for you. Make the money works for you. And that's why we have Money Monday. But it was super, super amazing talking to you today, Jay Breeze. I have attached my Instagram there. Hopefully you follow me on Instagram. Let me know who you are. And for anybody who's just joining, follow me on Instagram. And let's set up a session. I'm trying to source some people that can talk about money. And I would love for them to join and talk about money and what are some of the things that the financial institution have for us that we can use to our leverage to gain money and to make money. I know you guys that own a car washed off a bottle. I listen to older people. Yeah, some older peoples, they will share, but not everybody. Not everybody will share. Some people would not tell you what they do. Some people will not tell you how they come about it. Some people will not tell you about programs that are there. They'll know about these financial programs and they won't tell you about it. They'll know about the tax break. They won't tell you about it. They'll know a lot of things and they won't tell you. And I remember I had a coach and she said to me, information that's given freely, people don't appreciate. If they have to pay for it, then they'll appreciate it. I was like, what do you mean by that? She's like, information that's given freely is not appreciated. But if they have to pay for it, then they will appreciate it. Because I'm like, there was something that we were doing, and I was like, but why couldn't you just tell them that? She's like, if I tell them for free, they won't appreciate it. So that's why I created a course for them to pay for it, you know? I was like, wow, that's crazy. And you know what? I tell you, if you don't want, whatever you want to do with it, it's up to you. But some of us have heard this information before, right? Some of us, we go on YouTube and we cling onto the platforms that has gossip and got hatred and we're tearing down other content creators. We flood those YouTube pages. But for the pages that you can learn, there's so many educational pages that you can learn how to live a sustainable and leverage money lifestyle. And we don't pay attention to that. As soon as we listen to part of it, we stop listening because we don't think that they're not telling us exactly how to just get the money and put on our lap. They're telling us things that you need to do to earn your way up to this money. And if the money not jumping out the sky and falling on our lap, we don't want it. Okay? You're telling me to buy a house and then to fix it. And then before I'm not doing that. If the house don't come already fixed, I don't want it. I don't want it. A lot of us are like that. I don't want it. And you don't know you can buy a broken down house in a comp area that's almost $1 million, and that same house costs $1 million. You don't know that because you don't want to put in the work. You don't want to listen to stuff that's going to teach you. He said, I had to sit my son down and tell him the game. He owned 2 Foot Locker store on East and West Side. He woke up. Some kids will listen. Some kids will ride. Some kids will listen and some kids will ride. I have a daughter. And she's on her final year of college. I have 2 daughters the final year. And that one, she will act like she don't listen to what I say. But one thing I like about her, she emulates and listens to everything I say. She will act like if I tell her she's not listening, but then you see she put these things into actions, what I told her. And I really admire that about her because a lot of kids, you can teach them. And I tell them, I can help you. I have the cheat code. I have the cheat code to help you. But if I could have it, but if you don't put the information that I'm giving you to use, it's no sense. And it's the same thing with anybody. You could come on here and says, hey, these are the fundings that are available to help you to get a nonprofit. These are the funding that are available if you do that. This is the way I went about getting my apartment complex and I'm able to rent it out to so many people. You know what some people are going to come on here and say? Oh, I don't want to hear anything from him. He's just on here bragging. Oh, I don't want to hear anything from him because you got to do too much things. You got to go to too many places and all of that. I don't want to hear that. But you go sit on somebody who's gossiping about somebody's platform all day, every day. You will sit on it from the start to the finish. But something that's to help your life and help your life to grow, you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. You will criticize something that's going to help you. But you will accept something that's not paying your bills. Yeah, you lost money this month because you had to get the water heater. But guess what? That's a part of the game. You're going to lose money. You'd rather have something that you're losing money from that you're going to gain back 10 times more than have nothing at all. That if you don't go to work, you don't get paid. If you don't get up tomorrow and go to work, you don't get paid. We all need to start thinking about that mindset. We got to start thinking like these people. Because then we will knock these people and say that, oh, they have all the places, they own everywhere, they have all the business, they do this, they do that. But even if they told us what to do, we wouldn't want to do it. Let's get in our bag. 2026. I could stay here and rap all day, but hopefully I see you guys every Monday, Money Monday, where we help the family to grow, where we help the family to get debt free for 2026. If you're on board with me for no credit card 2026, no Afterpay 2026, let's get on board. Discipline, 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 discipline. Let's get there. All right? So take care, stay blessed, and I will see you in our next Money Monday. J Breeze, definitely reach out to me on Instagram. And guys, if you're not following me on Instagram yet, please do so. I would love to have you over there. And I'm going to add this to my course section on YouTube. Love You Too Classic. Our course section on YouTube. And you guys can find it there. Thank you so much. And happy Monday. And I will see you guys next week for Money Monday. Bye. Take care.